Priyanka Madi, please mute yourself. Madi Priyanka. Priyanka Madi. Priyanka Madi, please mute yourself. Ruman, please message her. Ruman. Yeah. I think she is doing something else. She's busy with cooking or. Am I audible to all of you? Am I audible? Okay, thank you. Let's quickly revise the pulses. Okay, pulses. We are also calling pulses as legumes. And most important thing, we are calling pulses as poor man's meat. Okay, we are calling it as poor man's meat. There are various dals or the grams which are included in pulses. This includes Bengal gram, red gram, green gram, black gram, or it can be horse gram. Even it includes lentils, okay, dried peas. And another important dal which we discussed yesterday, it is Lathyrus sativus, okay. Consumption of this Lathyrus sativus pulse, it is associated with Lathyrism, okay, which is crippling disorder. Regarding nutritive value of proteins pulses, they are rich in proteins. About 20 to 25% of proteins we can find in pulses. Among pulses, soybean, it is rich in proteins, and the proportion of proteins in soybean, it is 40%. Okay, so even if you compare the protein composition of pulses with cereals, the quantity of proteins which are present in cereals is less as compared to pulses. Okay, even the quantity of proteins in pulses is, it is more as far as animal proteins are concerned, but though the quantity of proteins in pulses is high, okay, but still these proteins which are present in pulses, they are biologically incomplete proteins, or we can say they are inferior proteins as compared to animal proteins. Okay, so regarding deficient proteins, deficient essential amino acids, mainly pulse proteins, they are deficient in methionine, okay, and to some extent they are deficient in cysteine, but at the same time pulse proteins, they are rich in lysine. Okay, these pulses, they are very good sources of B group vitamin like niacin, riboflavin, thiamine. Okay, and germinating pulses, they are a rich source for vitamin C. Similarly, on fermentation, nutritive value of pulses increases. Okay, there is increase in B group vitamins like thiamine, riboflavin, or niacin. These pulses, they are good sources for different minerals. Okay, we can get calcium, magnesium, zinc, iron, potassium, phosphorus. Okay, so different major minerals as well as trace elements we can get after consumption of pulses. Okay, in addition, we discussed presence of anti-nutritional factors. Okay, examples of anti-nutritional factors which are present in pulses, it mainly includes phytates and tannins. Okay, and these phytates and tannins, they affect bioavailability of micronutrients like vitamins or minerals. Okay, but these anti-nutritional factors, we can destroy it by application of it, or the most important thing is germination. Okay, so during the process of germination, anti-nutritional factors which are present in pulses, they are eliminated. Okay, and in addition, the presence of oligosaccharides in pulses, it can cause flatulence. Okay, it may be associated with the flatulence. Yeah, so we are supposed to look at this table as far as nutritive value of pulses is concerned. So observe this table carefully. Observe this table carefully. Now among pulses, so here we are comparing Bengal gram, black gram, red gram, soybean, green gram, peas in the dried form and horse gram. Okay, so for comparison we are having these pulses. Okay, so as far as energy is concerned, which pulse will provide us highest amount of energy? Please answer. I'm expecting answer from your side. Yeah, soybean. So 100 grams of soybean will give us highest amount of energy in comparison to other grams. Okay, which is the richest source for proteins amongst these pulses? Which is the richest source? Soybean. Okay, so maximum you can see it is 43.2 grams of proteins which are present in 100 grams of soybean. Okay, so definitely the protein content of soybean is high. Okay, followed by soybean, to which gram you will give ranking regarding proteins? Yes, green gram. Next is right. Okay, only 0.5 difference is there, so almost we can say green and black gram. Okay, followed by again 2 grams having red gram as well as horse, red and horse gram. Okay, almost similar, almost similar. The protein content amongst these pulses, it is less in Bengal gram. Okay, it is less in Bengal gram. Regarding fat content, what you want to say? Fat content? Yes, soybean, right. Maximum amount of fats they are present in soybean. Followed by soybean, for fats, it's Bengal gram. Right, right. Next is red gram. Then it's black gram. Okay, and very less amount of fats we can get from horse gram. Okay, horse gram, horse gram. I hope you can recall. कुळीथ किंवा this what we said. इकडे जे कॉमनली म्हटले जातात हुलगे. ओके, सो वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट दिस. आय होप यू कॅन रिकलेक्ट ऑल दीज पल्सेस. ओके, yesterday we have seen all images. Now regarding calcium content, which is the richest source for calcium among pulses? Yes, followed by soybean. Okay, next in rank is, yes, then you will rank black gram. Okay, and almost around 75 gram we can say it is present in remaining pulses, that is red gram, green gram and dried peas. Okay, so for calcium it's soybean, it's horse gram, then it is, yes, next is, yeah. So for calcium, there are four names. Okay, in a ranking, you can mention accordingly when you write the sources for the calcium as far as pulses is concerned. Okay, so when you mention sources for calcium from pulses, your ranking will vary. Okay, it will start from horse gram, then it will go to soybean, then it will go to Bengal gram, followed by black gram. Okay, maximum amount of iron, maximum amount of iron, yes, so it's 10.4. Okay, then it is dried peas, right? Next for iron is, next for iron is horse gram. Okay. Followed by Bengal gram. Okay. Then it's black gram and red gram. Okay. Iron content of red gram is less among all these pulses. Okay. What you can say about thiamine? Thiamine from pulses. Again, rich source is soybean. Okay. Yeah. And the least amount you will find in Bengal gram. Okay. Remaining are almost similar. Remaining are almost similar. For riboflavin, again it is soybean. Okay. For riboflavin, it is soybean. For niacin, once again it is peas dry and followed by soybean. Okay. So there is just difference of zero point 0.2, right? Vitamin C, if you see vitamin C, what we said in dried pulses, vitamin C is not present. Okay, so many places what you can find is 0, 0, 0, 0. Okay, so it is only Bengal gram. But remember, on germination, vitamin C content rises. Okay, vitamin C content rises. So most important from pulses is soybean as far as nutritive value is concerned. Okay, now we are going to start with the new part, that is vegetables. Vegetables, in which group we included vegetables? So when we studied classification, we included vegetables in protective foods. Okay, so vegetables are examples of protective food. One of the most important thing to understand about vegetables is that the nutritive value of vegetables, it is variable. Okay, and it will vary depending upon the part of the plants which we use as vegetables. Okay, so whether we are using leaves, whether we are using roots, okay, what different parts of the plant that we are consuming, so depending on that part, nutritive value of vegetables will vary. Okay, so whatever part that we use in our diet, what are the various advantages of consumption of vegetables? Okay, first thing, vegetables are protective foods. Okay, so they are important as far as maintenance of health is concerned. Vegetables, they are rich sources of micronutrients. Okay, vegetables are rich sources of micronutrients, that is we will get both vitamins as well as minerals when we consume vegetables. Water content of these vegetables is high, and at the same time dietary fibers, the presence of dietary fibers is more in vegetables. Okay, now since dietary fibers are present in vegetables, the role of dietary fibers already we studied. Okay, so these dietary fibers, they helps to increase the bulk of the stool, they reduces the transit time. Okay, they softens the stool, and this is how basically they helps to keep the intestine function properly, or they helps to reduce constipation. Okay, so bulk forming effect is there, softening effect is there, transit time है वो कम होने वाला है. Okay, so basically, the vegetables, whenever we consume vegetables in our diet, intestinal function will be carried out appropriately, and in addition, vegetables, they will help to reduce or relieve constipation. Okay, fat proportion of the fat in vegetables is very less. Okay, in addition, the calories which are supplied by vegetables, they are low. Okay, तो whenever we are consuming vegetables, उसमें fats कम है और calories जो हमें मिलने वाली है वो कम है. Okay, तो इसका application कहाँ पे आएगा? So definitely vegetables are valuable food as far as weight reduction is concerned. So whenever you are planning diet of obese individuals, definitely it has significant value. Okay, among vegetables, green peas. Okay, green peas. Now we are talking about fresh green peas. Okay, they are good sources of proteins. Okay, so there are various different advantages of including vegetables in our diet. Okay, now let's see how these vegetables are divided. So as we said, we are consuming different parts of the plant. Okay, so vegetables, they are mainly divided into three groups. Okay, this is green leafy vegetables. This can be abbreviated as GLV. Okay, or roots and tubers. And third group, it is other vegetables. Okay, other vegetables, some authors, they are also referring it as non-leafy vegetables. Okay, so you can either say other vegetables or we can say non-leafy vegetables. Okay, first we will talk about green leafy vegetables. Green leafy vegetables. What are various examples under green leafy vegetables? Now since we are saying green leafy vegetables, mainly the leaves of the plant we are going to consume. Okay, so part of our food will be leaves. There are different examples. It's spinach, I think all of you know, palak, fenugreek, fenugreek म्हणजे मेथी. ओके, ॲमॅरांथ, राजगिरा, इथे आपण पानांबद्दल बोलतोय. ओके, कॅबेज, कोबी किंवा पत्ता गोबी. ओके, then it includes curry leaves, कढीपत्ता. It includes coriander leaves. Okay, कोथिंबीर फ्रेश फॉर्म मध्ये असते ती. dill. Okay, dill is शेपू. It further includes mint, that is pudina. Okay, and it includes spring onion. Okay, so we are talking about the leafy portion. Okay, कांद्याची पात. So there are so many examples, still other you can add to this list. Okay, most important thing to understand about green leafy vegetables and their nutritive value, it is related with the color. Okay, it is related with the color of the leaves. So what we can say, darker the color, okay, so darker the green leaves, greater is their nutritive value. Okay, जितना green color dark है उतना उसका nutritive value ज़्यादा है. Okay, so when we consume these green leafy vegetables, we will get micronutrients as initially we said. Okay, so from micronutrients, the most important thing what we can get from green leafy vegetables regarding vitamins. Okay, so beta carotene, the most important source for beta carotene is green leafy vegetables. Okay, similarly we can get folic acid. Okay, so for folia, if at all you can recall folic acid, we said folia meaning is leaf. Okay, so folic acid is another vitamin that we can get. In addition, it is riboflavin. Okay, so there are several B group vitamin, beta carotene. Okay, even vitamin C we can get from green leafy vegetables. There is only one exception. There is only one exception. Can you tell me that vitamin we won't get from green leafy vegetables? Or even I will generalize it as vegetables. Yes, yes, B12. It's B12. Okay, because only animal sources are there for B12, and any other vitamin where only animal sources are there, only animal, no vegetable sources. Beta carotene we said. Okay, so vitamin A, C, from animal we will get retinol. Okay, and from plant food what we get is beta carotene. Okay, so regarding beta carotene we talked. Only animals, only animal sources. Yes, somebody says right now. D. Yeah, it's D. It's D. Okay, so all different vitamins we can get when we consume these leafy vegetables, but that time we won't get vitamin B12 and vitamin D. Okay, regarding minerals, most important thing, when we consume green leafy vegetables, these vegetables are rich. They are rich in iron as well as they are rich in calcium. Okay, but at the same time, even though the iron and calcium it is present in these leafy vegetables, okay, bioavailability of these minerals is less. Okay, and this we discussed earlier, but I will once again repeat it. If we talk about the calcium absorption, okay, and other leafy vegetables, okay, so there are some leafy vegetables which contains oxalic acid, okay, and this oxalic acid it interferes with absorption of calcium, okay, resulting in formation of insoluble complex calcium oxalate. Okay, so though the amount of calcium and iron it is good in these vegetables, but still that entire amount won't get available for our body to use, because simultaneously these vegetables they contains some other factors like oxalic acid, okay, which can interfere with absorption of these minerals. Okay, so the bioavailability of minerals is low, content is high. Okay, what we can say regarding proteins, okay, even small amount of proteins we can get from green leafy vegetables. Okay, so leaf proteins they are good source mainly for lysine. Okay, it is good source for lysine, but these proteins they are deficient in sulfur containing amino acids. Okay, so when we talk about sulfur containing amino acids, the examples it includes both examples of essential amino acids and non-essential amino acids. So methionine is the essential amino acid which is lacking in these leafy vegetables. Okay, and other sulfur containing it is cysteine, it is homocysteine, taurine, but these can be synthesized in our body. So regarding essential amino acids, what we can say, leaf proteins they are good source of lysine, but they are lacking in methionine. Okay, they are lacking in methionine. One additional thing I just want to share here, when we consume the leafy vegetables in fresh form and in dried form, okay, so in fresh leafy vegetables the protein content is less, okay, because more amount of water is present. Okay, but when these leafy vegetables are dried, in dried form protein content increases. Okay, if we take example of fenugreek, in fresh leaves its proportion is, protein proportion is 4.4%. Okay, but if we take dried leaves the proportion of protein is 19.5%. Okay, even colocasia आळूची पानं जर घेतली तर fresh leaves is 3.9% and dried leaves is 13.7%. Don't focus on the figures, and even don't recommend the consumption of leafy vegetables in dried form because the protein content increases. Why this is so? Because for proteins our focus should be on biologically complete proteins. Okay, so we should either suggest animal proteins, okay, or we should have to suggest combination, appropriate combination of cereals and pulses. So this is just additional point. Okay, fresh leafy vegetables and dried leafy vegetables as far as protein contents are concerned. Okay, now regarding water content, as right now I said water content of leafy vegetables is high. Okay, so maximum amount of water it is present. At the same time dietary fibers, okay, presence of dietary fibers is high, and that's why we said in uses of vegetables. Okay, so mainly since we are talking about leafy vegetables, the important dietary fiber which is present in leafy vegetable is cellulose. Okay, so it mainly consists of cellulose. Calories which are provided by leafy vegetables are less, already we said. Okay, but the amount of calories which are supplied after consumption of 100 grams of leafy vegetable, it is about 25 to 50 kilocalories. Okay, so calories are very less if you compare this with cereals and pulses. Right now we discussed about these things. Okay, so if you compare the calories that are provided by leafy vegetables with the cereals and pulses, the calories value is very less. Okay, only 25 to 50 kilocalories are supplied by leafy vegetable, and hence the value of including green leafy vegetables in diet planning of obese individuals is increased, or it is more. The recommended daily intake for green leafy vegetables for adults, it is 40 grams. Okay, so in our daily diet at least 40 grams of green leafy vegetables should be included. Okay, next in group is roots and tubers. Okay, roots and tubers, they are also called as starchy vegetables. Okay, we can call these as starchy vegetables. There are different examples that are included in roots and tubers. It mainly includes carrot, okay, gajar, radish, mula, beet. Okay, beet image you can see, image of beet. Okay, it includes potato, sweet potato, it includes onion, it includes yellow yam म्हणजे सुरण. ओके, कोलोकॅसिया म्हणजे खालचं मूळ अळूचं. Okay, so whatever things that are grown underground, okay, it is concerned with the roots and tubers. Okay, so before I continue, please permit me to end this meeting and please rejoin. Am I audible? Am I audible? Okay. Yeah, so we are discussing roots and tubers. Once again, I will enlist the examples under this. Okay, it includes carrot, radish, beet, potato, sweet potato, onion, yam, or you can say yellow yam. In addition, it's colocasia. Okay, and what other name we used for this? What other name we used for this? These are starchy vegetables. Majority of these are starchy vegetables. Now, since we are calling these as starchy vegetables, they are mainly rich in carbohydrates. They are mainly rich in carbohydrates, and among these roots and tubers, it is potato, sweet potato, and yellow yam. Okay, batata, ratala, and suran. Okay, these are the good sources for carbohydrate. Okay, but if we compare proteins, okay, so the amount of proteins which is present in roots and tubers, okay, so protein content is very less. Okay, so we can say roots and tubers are poor sources for proteins. Okay, they are poor sources for proteins. Similarly, they are poor sources for vitamins and minerals, but most of these they contains vitamin C, and the most important source here for beta carotene is carrot. Okay, so don't forget the carrot. Okay, as far as beta carotene value is concerned, so very rich source among these for beta carotene, it is carrot. Okay, so these are mainly providing us carbohydrate. Okay, very less amount of proteins, vitamins, and minerals are provided after consumption of roots and tubers. Okay, but for beta carotene, the one of the most important source from roots and tubers is carrot. Okay, what is the recommended daily intake of roots and tubers? The recommended daily intake of roots and tubers for adults, it is 50 to 60 grams. Okay, it is 50 to 60 grams. What is another significance of these roots and tubers? Okay, so whenever some disastrous conditions occurs and the food grains or other foods are not available, okay, so that time these roots and tubers, they can be used as principal food or staple food. But remember, these roots and tubers we cannot use as staple food for a longer period. Okay, so for longer period we cannot subsist on these roots and tubers. The most important reason is protein content is less. And what we studied about proteins, daily supplementation of proteins is very essential because our body don't have protein storage. Okay, so roots and tubers, they are not suitable as principal food or staple food for longer periods. Okay, and specifically this is in adverse situation or in disastrous conditions. The third criteria, it includes other vegetables. Other vegetables, or we can call these vegetables as non-leafy vegetables. Okay, either we can use any terminology. Other vegetables, mainly it includes, there are so many things. Okay, so it's brinjal, bangan, it's cauliflower, from salad. So the part which we generally include in our diet as salad, it's tomato, cucumber. Okay, other vegetables, it includes bitter gourd, karela. It includes ridge gourd. Okay, ridge gourd म्हणजे दोडका. It includes bottle gourd. Okay, bottle gourd is दुधी भोपळा. Then pumpkin. Okay, भोपळ्याचा दुसरा प्रकार येतो तो pumpkin. It also includes drumsticks. Okay, शेवग्याच्या शेंगा. It includes lady finger म्हणजे भेंडी. It includes giant chilies. Okay, so there are so many things which are included as other vegetables, or these are non-leafy vegetables. Okay, most important aspect about these vegetables, it is in relation to dietary fibers. Okay, so they are very good sources of dietary fibers. In addition, these vegetables, they provides us different vitamins and minerals. They are good sources of vitamins and minerals. Among the examples that we seen right now, it is drumsticks. Okay, drumsticks, शेवग्याच्या शेंगा, and cluster beans. Cluster beans म्हणजे गवार. Okay, so cluster beans and drumsticks, they are good sources of iron. Okay, so they are good sources of iron. Now we will do one more comparison for carbohydrates. Regarding carbohydrates, other vegetables, they contained less amount of carbohydrate. Okay, and this carbohydrate proportion in these vegetables, it may vary from 3% to 8%. Okay, if we compare this with the starchy vegetables or roots and tubers, okay, the proportion of carbohydrate, it is less in other vegetables. So regarding carbohydrate, roots and tubers are rich sources, and regarding carbohydrate, other vegetables, they are poor sources. Okay, the recommended intake of these vegetables for adults, it is 60 to 70 gram. Okay, so recommended intake for green leafy vegetables, we said 40 grams for adults. Okay, for starchy vegetables, okay, here we said it is 50 to 60 grams, and for non-leafy vegetables or other vegetables, the recommended intake is 60 to 70 grams. So it is very essential to include all these things in our daily diet. Okay, so there should be inclusion of leafy vegetables, even starchy foods, okay, and even the other vegetables. Now next in rank, it's nuts and oilseeds. Okay, we are going to talk about nuts and oilseeds. Okay, when we talk about nuts and oilseeds, they are the important, or they are rich sources for proteins, and they contains good quality of proteins. Okay, so in introduction, what we can say, they contains good amount of proteins, they contains good quality of proteins, and even adequate or good amount of fat, it is also present in these nuts. Okay, what are various examples of nuts and oilseeds? Okay, regarding nuts, it is groundnut or peanut. Okay, I think all of you are knowing what is groundnut. It's cashew nut, kaju. It includes coconut. It includes walnut, अक्रोड. ओके, इट इन्क्लूड्स आल्मंड्स म्हणजे बदाम, आणि पिस्टॅचिओ म्हणजे पिस्ते. ओके, सो डिफरंट नट्स आर देअर. वी सेड ग्राउंड नट, कॅशू नट, कोकोनट, वॉलनट, almond, pistachio. And regarding oil seeds, okay, oil seeds, it includes mustard seeds, okay, sesame seeds. Sesame seeds, they are also called as gingerly seeds. Okay, तीळ, sesame म्हणजे तीळ, mustard is मोहरी. Okay, it includes sunflower seeds, it includes safflower seeds, it also includes linseeds. Okay, linseed म्हणजे जवस. Okay, so there are so many nuts and oil seeds, okay, which are important sources or rich sources of proteins in our diet. Okay, right now what we said, they are rich in fat and they are rich in proteins. Okay, so let's first see fat content. Fat content among these walnut, almonds, and groundnuts, okay, as well as cashew nuts, the highest. Okay, regarding fat content, the highest is walnut. Okay, first comes is walnut. Walnut has 64.5% of fats. Okay, this is followed by almonds, which includes 58.7%. No need to memorize these numbers, just sequence you are supposed to know. Followed by cashew nut, where the value is 46.9%. Okay, and lastly it is groundnut. The fat content of groundnut is 40%. Okay, so ranking of nuts according to fat content, it is walnut, it is almonds, followed by cashew nut, followed by groundnut. Okay, now regarding proteins, the most important source among this, which is in reach of even poor people, is groundnuts. Okay, so groundnuts, they contains about 26.7% proteins. Okay, 26.7% proteins are present in groundnuts, or we can say groundnuts are the rich source of proteins. Regarding other oil seeds, if we talk particularly about the oil seeds and the proteins, okay, oil seed proteins, they are deficient in methionine. Okay, so whatever proteins that are present in different oil seeds, they are deficient in methionine, but oil seed proteins, they are rich in lysine. Okay, so we are saying deficient in methionine and rich in lysine. We are talking about oil seed proteins. Okay, so we said these nuts and oil seeds, they are very good sources for fats and they are very good sources for proteins. In addition, these provides different B group vitamins. Okay, we can get different B group vitamins from these nuts and oil seeds. Regarding minerals, they are very good sources for different minerals. They can provide calcium, they can provide phosphorus, iron, but here our main focus is to understand iron. Okay, so as far as these nuts are concerned, what are the rich or richest source for iron? Okay, so among these different nuts, the richest source for iron is pistachio. Okay, so don't forget it is pistachio or pistachio. ओके, पिस्ते. ओके, पिस्त्यामध्ये सगळ्यात जास्त आयर्न आहे. ओके, सो 100 ग्रॅम ऑफ पिस्टॅशिओ इट कंटेन्स अबाउट 14 milligram of iron. Okay, so among nuts, the richest source for iron is pistachio. Even almonds and cashew nuts, they are also good sources for iron, but on the top for iron from nuts, it should be pistachio. Okay, now regarding oil seeds, you know oil seeds, how we consume our oil seeds. Basically, there are only few oil seeds which we consume directly in our diet, like mustard seeds, okay, or sesame seeds. In addition to this, what we do is we extract oils from these oil seeds. Okay, so generally oil seeds, they are used in the form of oils. Okay, so regarding vegetable oils, so what different vegetable oils are there? These we get from oil seeds. And vegetable oils, they are rich in, their vegetable oils are rich in, I will say here PUFA first, PUFAs and some of the essential fatty acids. Okay, these are PUFAs or some of the essential fatty acids. Whatever vegetable oils are there, they are rich in PUFAs and essential fatty acids. Now I just want any one of you, please tell me names of essential fatty acids. Examples of essential fatty acids or PUFAs. If you tell both things, well and good. Yes. Hmm. Yes. Arachidonic acid. And two more names from essential fatty. Eicosapentaenoic acid. Yes. Okay. 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 Please let me know your name. Okay. So these are the various essential fatty acids. Okay, so mainly we get PUFAs from vegetable oils and few of the essential fatty acids that we can get from vegetable oils. Okay, even one more thing, after extraction of these oil from oil seeds, the part which remains, it is called as oil seed cake. Okay, and this oil seed cake, it is mainly useful as cattle feed. Okay, तो cattle को वो दिया जाता है. And one more thing to understand about groundnut. Okay, so groundnut flour, it is mainly useful in preparation of different food supplementation. Okay, so for children, Bal Ahar is prepared. Okay, so for preparation of Bal Ahar, what we use is groundnut flour. Okay, even for preparation of balanced malt food and Indian multi-purpose food. So regarding the multi-purpose food which is prepared in India, the guidelines are given by the institute. Already we have seen this institute. This is Central Food Technological Research Institute. Central Food Technological Research Institute. Regarding which topic we discuss this institute? Regarding which topic? Yes. Name of this institute? Which process is recommended by this institute that we are following to increase nutritive value of rice? Mali Priyanka? Priyanka Mali? Please answer. Yes. Can you name the process recommended by this institute? Name of the process? Name of the process? Anyone else? Anyone else? Name of the process? Yes, yes, it is hot soaking process which was recommended by the same institute for preservation of nutritive quality of rice. So similarly, different multi-purpose food which is prepared in India, the recommendations are given by this institute, and what they recommended is to combine groundnuts and Bengal gram. Okay, plus some vitamins are also added here. So basically why this recommendation is suggested is the Bengal gram, this is pulse, right? So it is these proteins, they are lacking in lysine. Okay, these groundnuts proteins, they are lacking in lysine, and good amount of lysine it is present in Bengal gram. So that's why this combination is suggested. This is just additional point to know. Okay, what we said, what this institute has suggested कि Bengal gram और groundnuts को हमें combine करना है, उसमें और vitamins add करने हैं. Okay, ये combination क्यों suggest किया है? क्योंकि groundnuts में जो proteins है वो lysine में lacking है और Bengal gram lysine में rich है. Okay, so just on that background it is suggested. Let's talk first about groundnuts, and then we will go to the digestibility of the nuts. Okay, so groundnuts, this is the most important source for protein as well as fat. So fat content, 40% of fat it is present in groundnuts, and protein content it is 26.7%. Now don't forget groundnuts. These are the most important sources of B group vitamin. Okay, so groundnuts, they will provide B1, B2, B3, that is it will provide thiamine, riboflavin, niacin. Now amongst this groundnuts, it is a rich source for which vitamin? From B group, groundnuts, it is rich source for which vitamin? Okay, so this vitamin we discussed. Can you recall? बी मध्ये ग्राउंडनट्स मध्ये कुठलं विटामिन सगळ्यात जास्त आहे? Yes, it's B1 thiamine. Okay, so this is one of the important thing. I think in quiz we discussed this question, right? Now one of the most important thing which is related with digestibility of the nuts. Okay, so nuts, they are not easily digested, and the reason is they contain high amount of cellulose. Okay, so cellulose content उसमें ज़्यादा है, so just for that reason these are not easily digested. Okay, once again we will come to the peanuts or groundnuts. Okay, regarding nutritive value we have seen there is one more aspect that we are supposed to know about these groundnuts regarding their storage. Okay, so it is very essential to store these groundnuts appropriately. Okay, so for storage, groundnuts or peanuts, it should be thoroughly dried. Okay, it should be thoroughly dried and moisture content should be less. Okay, otherwise, what happens? Improper storage, there is growth of a fungus. This is Aspergillus flavus. This is Aspergillus flavus. Okay, so name of the fungus is Aspergillus flavus. This Aspergillus flavus, it grows on the peanut. Okay, and after growth it is capable of producing certain toxins. Okay, these are known as aflatoxins. These are known as aflatoxins. Okay, and some of the aflatoxins like aflatoxin B1, this is harmful or this is hepatotoxic to us. Okay, and when such peanuts which are infested with Aspergillus flavus, they are consumed, it may result in a condition which is called as aflatoxicosis. Okay, this is aflatoxicosis. So what we said, this is just the thing which is related with the appropriate storage. Okay, so improper storage, maximum moisture, it may result in growth of the Aspergillus flavus. Okay, which can produce toxins. Okay, and these are aflatoxins which can be hepatotoxic and may result in a condition which is called as aflatoxicosis. Okay, so this is one thing. Regarding toxins, we said Lathyrus sativus concerned with the lathyrism, and second example, this is related with the improper storage. Okay, regarding Lathyrus sativus, the toxin, it is already present in the Lathyrus sativus pulse or केसरी दाल. तो यहाँ पे ऐसा नहीं है. This is mainly concerned with the growth of the Aspergillus flavus. Regarding fruits, okay, next in rank is different fruits are there. So examples, I think no need to tell you, all of you are knowing all the examples related with the fruits. But remember, fruits, they are very good sources for vitamins and minerals. Okay, and majority of fruits we consume in raw state. Okay, so this is one of the important feature that we are consuming it in raw state. Okay, so fresh fruits mainly citrus fruits. Okay, they are the examples, they are mainly the sources for the vitamins. Okay, which vitamin from citrus fruit we will get? Yes, from, yeah. So can you tell me on the topmost which example you will write? Oh, amla. Another name for amla? Indian gooseberry. Okay. In addition, yes, in addition, it is orange, it is guava. Okay. So these are the important thing. And even if the person consumes one orange having medium size, it can fulfill the requirement of vitamin C. Okay. If we talk about mango and papaya, they are very good sources for beta carotene. Okay, or rather you can say whatever yellow colored fruits are there, they are good sources for beta carotene. Okay, minerals, what different minerals we can get from these fruits? Mainly they are good sources of sodium and potassium. Okay, custard apple, it is rich in calcium. Okay, so custard apple, it is a very good source for calcium. The other dried fruits like dates, raisins, okay, they are good sources for calcium and iron. Okay, so for calcium we said custard apple, for calcium and iron we said these are dates and raisins. Okay, so in general mainly we can get sodium and potassium from the fruits. पाटील मॅडमचं लेक्चर आहे. हॅलो. So shall I stop here? Yeah, I think there are many things related with the fruits. So we will continue in next lecture. So Roman, please start with attendance. Yes, yes, yes. She's there. She's there. I can see her name. Hmm. Hmm, hmm, hmm. Anika, please. Yes. Okay, thank you.